Hey everybody, welcome back to the Bourbon Note. I'm Greg.
I'm Ben.
And today, obviously, we're drinking bourbon. All right, Ben, what is on the bar in front of us?
A whole bunch of whiskey that's hard to find.
Well, it's right here.
Yeah. So,
This is the product of years of searching.
yes, it is. So Greg sent me a text earlier and said, hey, do you want to do a Weller flight tonight? Sure. I have never had the full proof. So I'm
we
kind of looking forward to
rarely
that,
have
especially.
any of them because they're allocated. It's not like we're afraid to drink them, but when
Yeah,
we run out,
we drink them down, but it's,
Yeah.
you kind of save them for special occasions
You do.
sometimes a
Yeah.
little bit. But we kind of figured we'd throw in the Lot B because we recently did the Weller 12-year.
right, which is this one we just got. I
Yep.
just got. But here's the stats. It's the same mash bill. This is all. Buffalo Trace actually doesn't call it mash bill 3. They just call it the wheat mash bill.
I thought they called it Mash Bill 3.
They don't. Well, everything I saw just said the wheat mash bill.
Internet, let him have it if he's wrong.
Everything I saw referred to it as the weed
Okay.
mash bill. But anyway, but these all are the same mash bill.
Mm-hmm.
They're both 12-year. Obviously, barrel handling and location in the rick house is why they selected certain barrels
Sure.
to make the Lot B.
What I learned recently, I was watching on Instagram, they had an interview with one of the Van Winkles was talking about the Pappy Van Winkle line.
Okay.
And I guess how it works is, so the Weller and the Pappies are the mash bill 3 or the wheated mash bill.
Mm-hmm.
So it's all the same starting juice, yeah.
Yep.
Apparently, the Pappy folks get to go in and they get their first pick of the best barrels, or what they deem to be the best barrels.
Sure.
So they'll go in and taste. God, boy, how'd you like that job?
Yeah, exactly.
You just get to go in and taste barrel-proof Pappy Van Winkle all day long. So that ends up being the Pappy line, the Old Rip Van Winkle, the Lot B, and then, of course, the Pappy.
The aged ones.
Yeah. With the actual Pappy Van Winkle picture on the front. But in theory, these should be somewhat similar.
And certain reviews have suggested they're very similar.
Okay.
So we're going to start at the lowest proof and kind of the youngest entry one.
Almost as a primer, get the...
Exactly.
We've had this enough that...
This is not a horrible whiskey, but it's also not the greatest whiskey ever. Like,
It was never meant to be.
it should be a $22 whiskey bottom shelf. It's screw top.
Yep.
Even this 12-year, it should be like $40 or whatever, and it's been way overhyped, but whatever. Different issue. This is expensive.
Yep.
Internet prices, they're like in the $1,000 range, and
$1,200
it's
area,
crazy.
Yeah, that's nuts.
But at $100, it maybe what it should have been.
Sure.
It's interesting, and so we're just going to compare these two together, and then why not? We're just going to throw in the 107, which we like. We don't have very often, but
Yeah, Greg and I are both big fans of the
big
107.
fans. Like this is like Bourbon of the Year territory.
Oh, wow. That's
And-
bold.
Yeah, well, in that range, it's in the top several. And you've never had the full proof.
No, so I'm
And
looking forward to drinking
they have
a whole bunch of whiskey
lower
before it.
proof point for their entry.
114. I wonder if it's just if they changed their barrel age, because if they're going by the standard definition of barrel or of full proof, excuse me,
Yep.
it should be equal to whatever the juice went into the barrel at. So.
Right.
All right, let's get to tasting and snivs here
Okay.
before we ramble too much.
Wheated mash bill, but I've heard rumors that it's only 13% wheat.
Okay.
So wow, wheated.
Still wheated. I'm gonna give them all a little sniff here.
A little like almondy so far.
There is a difference between the two 12-years on the nose.
Oh wow.
The Lot B does it make sense that it smells a little more like oily and viscosity?
Sure. I think you can detect a little bit of that.
Sure. All right, let's go in for the taste here. This is the Special Reserve. 90 proof we're rocking here, correct? 90 proof.
90 proof.
I should know that because I believe that was in our proof points, tier
Yep.
1.
First three are the same proof point. This one's
It's perfectly fine. It's got some nice bready notes to it. But like we said in the intro, it was never meant to get the hype it did. It just got, tacked on to the Pappy line and the rest of the more upscale Wellers. So
interesting today, and I don't know why I'm getting vanilla, but on the initial flavor. Normally I get vanilla as a finish. and that I associate that with high rye, and this is not a high rye mash bill, obviously. But I'm getting vanilla on the initial flavor profile, and a little bit of wood, even though it's a younger-ish.
Yeah, it's still gonna have that oak presence. Getting some nice caramel, kind of basic bourbon notes. Also, attention internet, I will be blending all 5 of these together, as I'm sure Greg will be at the end of the episode, as per our usual anytime we're doing a flight. So don't cut the video off before you check that out, because it's an uncommon blend.
Well, it is an uncommon blend, and we could do the math, but we're talking well over 60 years, I think.
Yeah.
And the proof will be, I don't know, 450.
Yeah, something like that for
you
sure.
may catch just like spontaneously combust.
All right, I'm gonna go on to the 12 year here.
So just got.
By the way, this is like an ounce of bourbon in each of
I
these.
apologize.
Hey, I don't mind you pouring, you know. He's like, hey, do you think we should do the lot B with it too? And it's his bottle, so I was like, yes, I think we should.
I'm just not very good at pouring consistently.
I learned, side note, real quick, on an episode of Whiskey Vault, or Whiskey Tribe, that if you tip that over and it touches just up to the rim, that should be 1 ounce.
Really?
Yeah.
So I did like 3/4 ounce pours?
Yeah.
What's 3/4 times 5?
Oh, don't make me do math. Oh, that's got the nice oak notes, which is kind of just obvious on a 12 year.
It does, you know what? It has a clean, like it doesn't stand out in any, like.
That's a great way to describe it.
It's kind of a clean flavor.
Yeah. It's not overly refined. And when I say it, I'm not saying something is overly refined is bad. I'm just saying it's not terribly refined. Yeah, clean is a good way to put it. It's got nice flavors, but it's just kind of clean. It's a little bit, it's not thin, but I think what we're going to find on this, going from memory, is that this is going to be much more oily and.
There's a note I'm having a hard time putting a flavor on, but it's in like the pomegranate range, which I don't know if I've ever got before. And we did a review of this a couple weeks ago, but today I'm getting some sort of like a red fruit note.
Going between these two, just with no water, the 12 definitely has more of a bite to it. It's got the tannic notes to it. But I don't know what the age is on the Special Reserve, but am I seeing how much more hyped this one is versus this one difference? Yeah, there's definitely a difference. It's a 12-year bourbon. But, boy, it just doesn't, I don't know. They're similar.
Yeah.
You know, obviously they're the same bourbon, just different ages, but I guess I don't know where I was going with that. Let's get on to the Lot B here before
Lot
I
B.
make an idiot of myself.
Jump in on it. So we've stepped up a notch in experience. This one really hits the notes as far as like the mouthfeel, the oily viscosity, coats your tongue. It still has a few like very aggressive qualities, like some bitterness.
Well, we've said before in other videos, and if you watch our initial review of this, you thought this was approaching over oaked.
Right. But I don't get on this one, which is interesting enough.
Yeah, that is interesting.
Yeah.
So we did our 90 proof points, and we threw this in on tier 2, was when the winners of both, or tier 3, when the winners of both tier 1 and tier 2 went against each other.
Right.
Threw it in as a wild card, and it actually did win.
For both of us. Each of us.
Yep.
So.
It is, like you said, you're stepping up the experience. There is a difference between the Lot B and the Weller 12.
There really is.
In that, just that texture and mouthfeel, which really kind of gives you that premium whiskey feel or experience.
Getting a little bit of cherry Pop-Tart.
I'm gonna drink a little more of this probably than the others. Like I'm putting some of this in the blend, but I'm gonna enjoy.
Oh, okay. Yeah, a little bit of like a cherry Pop-Tart kind of note. Both the cherry flavor, the sugar from the frosting, and the pastry.
Well, look at the, you probably can't see this on camera, but just look at the legs on it.
It does have a real...
That's got pretty nice legs too.
Yeah.
Going back and forth.
The 12, go back and visit it again.
Yeah, they're both really good. The 12 is thinner, you know. All right, I'm gonna get a little water here because now we're stepping up in proof. And this is one of both of our favorites.
It really is. And we don't always agree on bourbon. There are areas where we disagree, but this is one we definitely agree on.
Yeah, for sure. I always get like a nice kind of almost a textured sort of bite off of this one too. Almost, I've said before, like effervescent, sort of like the same sort of feeling your tongue gets when you drink a carbonated beverage. Well, how did you describe that? You said this recently in a video, raspy.
Raspy. It's more of a physical experience as opposed to just a flavor.
Yeah. But then I get kind of like cherry cola notes on this one a little bit.
It's got an interesting nose. Like it's not hot with the ethanol, but it's got like a really aggressive flavor note. It's in the cherry range again, and I think all these are reasonably well aged, and there's something, I don't know, I'm not sure what's giving them all the cherry flavor, because typically you get that more on like double oak type thing, or really well aged, and obviously these two are well aged. All right, let's see what the 107 is like.
Getting a little more of that bite and sting from it today. Could be just it's the fourth whiskey.
It's noticeable though.
A lot of times I get off of this one of the things I like about it is that cherry note, or it's borderline into, if you've ever had like a donut that's got the pink frosting, like the strawberry frosting, like Dunkin' Donuts has those, and they're my favorite kind of donut. But I get kind of that red fruit, but it's not like it's like an artificial red fruit.
Flavor?
Yeah, like strawberry frosting or something like that.
I don't think I've experienced that. So this one, I get a much more rounded, balanced sweetness, where these come across as a little ragged, well, especially these two. And this one's kind of, I don't know, middle of the road. This one is much more balanced. And it's 107 proof, so we've stepped up a couple of steps. Age is probably, I don't know, 8-year-ish range, I would think. But
Just a lovely bourbon.
It's like really nice caramel that really just rolls right into a tobacco and a cherry.
And with like a cola, sort of. I really get a cola vibe off of this.
But then it hits off your tongue.
Yeah. Did she think that you said, hey Google, or
yeah, exactly.
You know who?
Yep.
Okay, let's move on to the full proof. His watch is talking to my Google. Is that an Apple Watch?
Yeah.
Okay, so you said the trigger word for that, and then I said and now they're talking to each other.
Yeah, it's a disaster.
We were just interrupted by robots on the bourbon note.
The takeover of the robot bourbon episode is amongst us.
Yeah, apparently. Okay, full proof. Never had this one before. 114 proof Weller.
Probably younger, definitely, than the... It looks youngish. I mean, it's probably 6-7 years, I would think.
I would imagine at least. Now, we're only going up 7 proof points, which does make a difference.
Yep.
But here we were going up 17. And so this, may not be quite as much of a jump.
It's really sweet on the nose, though.
It is, yeah.
But it's sweet in that almond shortbread category, which I've kind of hinted at on a couple of them, but I think this one maybe leans into the almond shortbread more than the others.
Getting a slight nuttiness off of this one too, that I didn't get on the other ones.
I hate to break it to you, but almonds are a nut.
Whoa.
Whoa is right.
That is a completely different experience than I was expecting. The Weller 107, was much more harsh. Like it cut a little more. This one was smooth up front with a nice burn on the backside of it. Maybe I need another sip of it.
Yeah, I'm gonna go back and redo that experience because.
There's the nice sharpness. Okay, maybe that first one is just kind of.
I get much more light brown sugar notes on this one.
On the 107?
With the caramel, with the vanilla, the almond flavor. But it works well together. It's like a very nice, well-balanced bourbon. This one, again, still really good, but a little bit more harsh because of the ethanol kick. Ooh, chocolatey. It's really
I'm going no water between these now.
Yeah, water's for the weak. It's got milk chocolatey.
I think this one's got more of a bite to it almost.
Really?
Like I'm getting, like this one's a nice, easy, flavorful drink up front with a nice burn, but it like swells up. You know, we've talked about like the Maker's Private Selects.
Where they build.
They tend to have like a building proof. We both experienced that. I'm getting a little more of that on this, and whereas this one is just right up front, kind of those tannic. It's not just proof. It's like oak. You know.
So I'm
This
getting
is
more.
interesting.
I'm getting more of the tannin type bitterness off this guy, but it's not a bad thing. But I really like at this point. I'm really noticing the ethanol on like the top center of my tongue, where it evaporates. That one's noticeable. Like this is a much higher proof.
It's noticeably higher proof. It's just the way the proof is manifesting itself is different.
And the flavors.
Which is what's so cool about doing side-by-side stuff.
They're definitely different experiences. And unfortunately, the downside is by the time you get through 5 whiskeys, you know, your tongue starts to get a little bit.
Yeah. Probably not the greatest idea to do a whiskey I've never had as number 5.
Yeah, and it wouldn't be fair to start there and go this way.
Right, because then you're going lower in proof.
Yeah.
I'm going back to the beginning now.
Ooh.
Seeing what happens.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Bourbon Oak.
Back to, God, the Special Reserve's got a nice nose on it now. Like it's, I don't know if it's opening up or if it's just me having 5 bourbon tastes already.
Definitely.
Nice caramel and vanilla now. Do you know those like Tootsie Roll looking things that are kind of like caramel, but it's got the vanilla center? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Tootsie Rolls?
They're like the no, they're not Tootsie Rolls, but they're shaped like them and they're individually wrapped. I think they come in like a blue wrapper. Internet, let us know what those things are. But it's like a caramel. It's like, and it's kind of like rolled.
You're not talking just like taffy, right? And there's caramel flavored taffy.
Well, there's yeah, but it's not taffy.
Yeah.
They're just individual. They look just like Tootsie Rolls, like in shape and the way they're wrapped, like individually.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I'm getting some of those vibes on there. Here's every time you look over there and talk to him, now I have to go back in the video and find where you did that so I can edit this in. The hell he puts me through. All right, let's get into drinking this. Boy, the full proof really kind of cuts the legs off of this one.
I absolutely, totally, I knew you were going to say that. I totally disagree.
Do you really?
I'm not getting any ethanol.
That's what I mean. Yeah, I'm getting.
But
it's smooth now.
It is, but it's really, really nice flavors. Like I think
the flavors are really
it.
good. Do you? I don't think it's helped it.
Well, it depends on what you're looking for. If you look for like a little bit of the barrel spice, a little bit of the caramel and that type of flavor, like it's right there. This has helped it a lot. But you're not getting any of the kick of the proof point because it's been undercut.
I feel like it helped on the nose considerably, but on the taste, it's
Let's try the 12 again.
It's a little more smooth.
Because,
now I'm going no water between any of these.
Yeah, water's for the weak. So now, I mean, so obviously the age is the most prominent thing here, and that's kind of bitter, and I would expect that to stick around.
My issue with these now is the proof. Like these two were high enough proof, and I drank them both back and forth enough that, which is exactly why we go in ascending proof. Obviously, is what you want to do in a flight. Flavors are still there. The oak is still there. But
vanilla on the finish.
It's just tamed down a little bit.
It does.
You'll have that.
It doesn't have the wave of ethanol punch / lasting flavors at the end because it's kind of like, It's annoying when the unicorn actually lives up to its reputation. We've now had several unicorns that, like, there's enough going on in this one that we'll save this time, but
this is on the nose. I'm getting like pastry, like fried donut pastry,
kind of buttered.
Yeah, buttery custard, maybe a little bit like a vanilla custard.
Creme brulee.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
And again, you can get there's something that like the nose on this is just as textured as the palate is in that viscosity.
Right.
So, let's check this one out and see if it falls flat like the other two did. I don't mean fall flat in a bad way. It just got chopped down by the other two being high proof. And almost getting different flavors now. I mean, all the same ones are still there, but it's like opening up to new ones.
See, I guess that's what I'm experiencing with these is I'm not getting the ethanol kick, although a little bit on the finish on the sides of my tongue. But I'm getting a lot more flavor, a lot more of the custardy, kind of vanilla, almost, we just said pastry and everything, but I'm really getting almost like that experience.
Do you know what's weird was what I'm getting on this? And this is not a note I commonly get, but I have gotten it once in a while, and it has not been great. But on this, I think it's working right now. And it's, again, I've had how many sips of different proofs and different whatever, so that's going to affect it. But I'm almost getting like a little bit of a cedar vibe as far as the wood note goes. Yeah. There's something about it that's just kind of like that, like the smell of cedar.
Oh yeah, which I love.
It's very, very muted. It's not like it's in your face or anything, but there's something there that's just kind of like I'm pulling out and just reminding me of that a little bit. Do you have a favorite out of these?
This one by far has the most interesting experience as far as especially your first sip.
Yeah.
Like just the mouthfeel and the flavors that really wrap your tongue. This is my favorite overall flavor profile. This one's interesting because of the proof. This one's interesting if you're ever curious, and we've said it a ton on our videos, that whiskey either needs more proof or more age.
Yep.
This one is like a really great example. There are others of this is what just age does for a whiskey.
Yeah. And the great thing about doing these two, like we said at the beginning, they theoretically are the same. It's just barrel selection. And that clearly made a difference.
So being a master distiller is A, the greatest job ever in the history of the world, and B, really important, and C...
And being the people who get to come in and pick the barrels, because not always the master distiller, in this case.
But whoever's doing that, they're obviously really good at their job.
Yeah, absolutely. So here's a question. These are all $50, and they're all sitting on the shelf. You got $50 to spend. Which one are you buying?
That's a great question. Well...
I bet you and I can both narrow it down to the same two.
Well, I'm pretty sure I can knock you out and steal your $50 so that I can
There you go. Greg hits me with a shovel. Now he steals my $50. Which two are you buying?
I mean, the experience of this one is interesting, but this is definitely what I would refer to, and maybe I'm saying this a little bit because it's a little bit of an expensive unicorn. I like the flavors of this one more, and I like the proof point of it a little more. This one is very oak forward, which obviously it should be, and it's exactly where it should be. This one's also really interesting, but not quite as interesting as this. I think this is my first place.
Okay.
And I've said that before. I think this really is one of the whiskeys of the year every year when I have it.
Yep.
It's near the top.
I think I'm with you on that. It's between the Lot B and the Antique 107. I wonder if there was like a midpoint compromise where, say, instead of 12 years, it was like 10 years, but the same proof as the Antique 107, like a 10-year, 107 proof.
With a ridiculously over-designed label?
Yeah, that still looks really cool, And I wonder what would happen if we took that and then pit it against other 107 proof bourbons in a proof points episode.
Oh, do you think that's something we should do?
I think it is. We might. That might be coming up on a live stream within the next couple of months. We still have to get to 100 and maybe 105, but eventually we'll get to the 107. And we already have them picked out, don't we? We're doing Antique 107, Old Rip Van Winkle, Baker's single barrel.
I have.
And what was the other one?
If we want to include the Jim Beam single barrel 108, it's...
Oh, yes, we should, but we had another 107 one that we could do.
Oh, it could be Booker's.
Oh,
I have a Booker's.
The NASA Family Reserve.
Oh, okay.
So anyway, yeah, side note, look forward to that episode after we do the next two proof points. So anyway, we've gotten to the end of this, sort of review flight, fun drinking, hard to get bourbons, but now...
probably our last video that we're filming ahead of time of the year. We're gonna do a live tomorrow. Are you okay doing a live tomorrow?
Yeah, absolutely.
Probably should ask you that.
Do you think that some people are gonna watch this and think that it's blasphemy?
Well, I mean, we've done 100 episodes in a row where we've done this. Except, I have to admit, it's really hard to do a blend when you do a single bottle review. We've tried.
Yeah.
Nobody catches on.
Just what's left in this is...
Yes.
Is starting to...
It's a 4-ounce pour. I acknowledge that I don't normally drink this much on a school night.
I can generally tell because I've measured out just so I know when I'm pouring, what a 2-ounce pour is.
I want to do that, and
it's about there.
Okay.
Yeah, a 2-ounce pour is just about midway through the rounded out part, like the belly of the Glencairn.
Okay.
It's just about the halfway point.
So we really are talking about a 4-ounce pour today. So it's a good thing I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah.
And I live straight across the
what's
street.
left of all these is a fresh 2-ounce pour.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's kind of an interesting thing. Maybe we should do a video on that, because I actually did do an experiment where I took, one of my rocks glasses, one of these, and something else, and I just poured 2 ounces of water into them, just so I know, like, as a, if I want to pour, I usually go about 2 ounces.
We should do that.
Maybe 3 some nights if I don't, have anything going on.
So, are you okay with doing a live show tomorrow?
Yeah.
I acknowledge.
I think we've covered this already.
When you're going to see this, we will have done a live show yesterday. That's how time works.
Or tonight, because if you're on our Patreon, you get the videos early.
Oh.
So boom.
Well, there's
or
that.
people that see this in the future, this isn't going to make any sense.
Well,
so maybe I'll edit this out.
Nah, it makes perfect sense. But I'll have a wild card to throw in too. So why don't you bring a little thing of water with a 1 ounce and a 2 ounce for the live stream tomorrow, and then we'll do whatever our main topic is. But we'll start with doing how much water fits in a glass.
Do you think people are just going, get to the blend, please drink the blend?
I don't think anybody's saying that.
Okay, let's nose, get some snivs here.
So should we absolutely insult everybody by saying this is better than Pappy 23, even though we've not? Because it's clearly
I've never had Pappy 23.
It's clearly older than Pappy 23.
Well, yeah, when you add up all the ages combined,
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's like you said, like it's over 400 proof.
Yeah, 400 proof and 20.
There is something on the nose here I can't put my finger on, but it's interesting.
I'm still getting cherry Pop-Tarts, and I don't necessarily eat cherry Pop-Tarts all that often, so that's not like something that's a go-to flavor for me.
I'm really trying to get this to all, blend evenly and
Sure.
It does have like that cherry strawberry frosting vibe to it.
Still that donut note. And
like the fried pastry. That's why I said like the Dunkin' Donuts.
Fried donut. Wait, you didn't say fried before.
I did actually. I think I snuck it in there.
You didn't say fried.
All right. This is the point in the video where have you seen those commercials where they have a new thing where they drop the red flag, the challenge flag on what just happened? I'm dropping the challenge flag.
Did Ben say fried when he referred to his Dunkin' Donuts pink
when I referred to my
frosting?
pastry/fried donut? I think I said fried.
I don't think you said fried.
Okay, please hold. We're gonna rewind and we're gonna check it out. So I'm getting like pastry, like fried donut pastry. If you've ever had like a donut that's got the pink frosting, like the strawberry frosting, like Dunkin' Donuts has those, and they're my favorite kind of donut. I'm gonna give myself the win on this because I did say fried donut. But technically, earlier in the video, when I was talking about the Dunkin' Donuts, I didn't say fried. So, I don't know. I guess we both kind of won, but since I'm editing, I'm throwing the W my way. Okay, we're back. I don't know who won that, but the internet now does. So
yeah, the internet now
let's
does.
get into the tasting.
All right.
Cheers.
Well, that's a little bit all right.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
I know they're trying, but I think Buffalo Trace is actually doing a pretty good job.
Yeah.
I think they know what they're doing. They're on the right track, and they just got to keep going. Stick with it. Don't lose faith. Just keep going.
That's an interesting blend.
So when we do these blends, and we're being a little bit sarcastic and idiots, but sometimes blends work out great.
Yeah,
and sometimes
they don't.
They kind of kill the individual flavors or personalities, if you want to.
This is good and it's interesting, but they are fighting each other a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like the Lot B and the 107 are a little bit better on their own than the blend of all these.
You've definitely pulled these down. Adding the tannins of the 12-year.
It's a very tannic blend.
Really brings some really interesting flavor profile. Mm-hmm. The sweetness and the roundness of these two kind of also works well with the flavor.
I gotta tell you though, I mean, it's good.
It's really good.
It's very good. So, I don't know how much these are available in your area. I know that the Special Reserve, there's plenty of markets where this is just a regular on the shelf.
It is every day on the shelf in lots of the country.
Yeah. So like Texas has a lot of it.
Oklahoma,
Ohio.
It is an everyday $25, and it's totally worth that price. And it's like
absolutely, it's a great everyday just kind of go to all-purpose, you know, utility bourbon.
This one, price varies immensely. And like I've seen it for $1,000, totally not worth it.
No.
Same with this one.
Around here, the MSRP on this is about 56. I think 50 to 56, which as rare as it is, I think this is definitely a $50 to $56 bourbon in quality, for sure.
If you travel to Calgary, the one in Canada,
Okay.
it's on the shelf every day.
Still?
Well, I haven't been there in 2 years
Might have to adjust my vacation plans.
because of reasons. But well, you can go there and get Blanton's or all those other weird Blantons. That's mash bill too, by the way, and
Yeah,
that's my least favorite of the Buffalo Trace mash bills.
mine too, by far. So yeah, this has been an interesting flight. So yeah, leave a comment. Let us know, like, are any of these available? I mean, I know this one is allocated across the country.
Yeah, you're probably not.
Maybe the full proof I don't hear about quite as much, but I've heard like the 12-year and the 107 are kind of, you know, hit or miss. They show up in some markets like Ohio and Texas.
Yep.
Like a few times a year, and then they kind of go away, and then they kind of come back. Kind of the way, like, you know, 1792 full proof does here.
I should probably.
Now, CYPB or single barrel, I have no idea how that
love to
works.
try that. That's the one that's missing. I don't care about the single barrel so much because it's single barrel and they vary a bit. But CYPB, I would like to buy.
Sure. All right. Well, do you have anything more?
Well, I want to be nice. We've thrown a guy under the bus repeatedly, and there was a guy who gave me, liquor store manager gave me 2/3 of a bottle.
I'm just leaving the review for this part.
No, and he did a very nice thing by giving me 2/3 of a bottle. It was a taster bottle, and he said, "Here, you can have the rest." And I said, "Thank you." That's all. That's where I'm going with this. So that's how I got this bottle, which I've never seen for sale. But thank you so much.
All right. Well, this has been Weller and a little special guest by Lot B on the Bourbon Note. I'm Ben.
I'm Greg. Till next time, share this video with a friend, and see you next time.
That was the best ending to any of our videos yet.
Why?
Because I think you can tell that we've had 3-4 ounces of bourbon.